In my last video, even though I said deck profile, I only discussed the main deck for the Gladiator Beast and somehow forgot about including the extra deck. So in this short video, I'm going to be discussing the extra deck for the Gladiator Beasts for the new August 28 format that I am playing. So to start things off, I'm gonna be playing two copies of Gladiator Beast Geysers. This is again one of the biggest boss monsters of the deck. This card is absolutely bonkers. This card is basically the reason they were competitive in the very first place on the Shonen Jump circuit all the way through. So basically, he's a dark attribute level 6 winged beats a fusion effect monster. He requires Gladiator Beats Bastari plus one of the Gladiator Beats monster. So he must be contact fusion. He must be special summoned using the name monsters that using the materials that are mentioned on this card. You don't use polymerization. Basically, that means you shuffle the materials from your side of the field back into the deck in order to special summon this guy. He gets his effect immediately when special summoned, which is absolutely bonkers, by the way. You can target two cards on the field and destroy them. Boom! And he comes with 2400 attack and 1500 defense, which makes him absolutely deadly. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, survived the battle, and its effect was not negated, you can shuffle this card back into the extra deck and special summon two Gladiator Beats monsters with different names except Gladiator Beats but Starry. Really, really strong card. We're going to follow that up with two copies of Gladiator Beats Tame Radiator. This is a really, really strong Gladiator Beast fusion monster. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to discuss it in my previous video. I would say this is a definite 2-off now. He's also a dark fusion monster. Beast Warrior fusion effect. He basically requires two level 5 or higher Gladiator Beast monsters. Uh, so what he does is he allows you to special summon one Gladiator Beast fusion monster to your side of the field during your main phase for free once per turn. So basically, uh, so you make this card. You have a Heraclinos on your side of the field for free. You have a Domitianus on your side of the field for free. You can even go into a Geysers on your side of the field for free and pop two cards readily, and then use Geysers to attack over any remaining monsters that your opponent controls. Very, very strong monster. He himself comes with 2400 attack and 3000 defense, so he's no a slouch. He actually has both some pretty decent stats, and the best thing about him is that if you go into him, he cannot be used as a super poly target because he cannot be used as a fusion material. No, absolutely not. Very, very strong card. Highly recommended. We're going to follow that up with one copy of the new card from Chaos Impact, Gladiator Beast Domitianus. So he is also a dark fusion monster. He's a sea serpent. So he requires Gladiator Beast Vespasius as one of his named materials, but the other materials can be any two Gladiator Beast monsters. So basically, during either player's turn, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate the activation of that monster effect, and if you do, destroy the card. Also, you can control the attack targets for each of your opponent's monsters. That's like really, really, really strong. That means that if you've got your various special installments under your Simog link, and if you have this card in your side of the field, you can force your opponent to only attack this card or the Simorg over the barrier statue installment, since that can't be targeted anyway. So that's like really, really, really strong, very powerful card. I would say that this is definite that on your side of the field. This card, along with the Simog lock, can definitely already win you games. Very, very, very strong card. Very. We're going to follow up with one copy of Gladiator Beast Underbata. Underbata is a very, very powerful fusion monster. Also, a dark fusion monster. Is a beast warrior. So he requires Gladiator Beast Augustus plus two Gladiator Beast monsters which are different from Augustus or could be the same as well. Uh, so basically, he's like Terminator in a way, in the sense that he can special summon one level 7 or lower Gladiator Beast fusion monster from your extra deck to your side of the field for free. So he can special summon your Geysers to your side of the field, most likely, and help you pop two cards right off the bat. And at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled and survived the battle and his effect was not negated, you can shuffle him back into the deck and special summon two Gladiator Beasts monsters with different names from your main deck, other than Gladiator Beast Augustus. Very, very, very strong. So he comes with 1,000 attack, but 2,800 defense. So that is huge, absolutely huge. Very fat body, uh, very powerful card. Definitely run as a one-off. We're going to follow up with one copy of Gladiator Beats Heraclinos and one copy of Gladiator Beats Nerokias. So now both of these cards are potentially Tame Radiator's special summon targets, but at the same time, they could, this guy especially, this guy could be made using without using Tame Radiator, but this guy can't. I've covered this in my previous video, but Gladiator Beats Heraclinos is basically Light and Darkness Dragon without the ability to negate monster effects. So basically, what this guy is once per chain. If your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can discard one card from your hand and negate the activation of that spell or trap card and then destroy it. So like this is not a once per turn; it's a once per chain. So that's like really, really, really strong. Uh, it's a quick effect, so you can use it on either player's turn. Very, very strong monster. It's a 3,000 attack and 2,800 defense. Very powerful. It's a fire attribute. Very, very, very strong. Let it be Nerokius. Well, what can I say? This guy is Armades, Keeper of Boundaries. Also a Dark Fusion monster like many others. He's a winged beast. So basically, if you fusion summon for this card under the Simongling, this guy can't be destroyed by battle. And at the same time, if this card attacks, or is attacked, your opponent can't activate any cards or effects until the end of the damage step, which is absolutely busted. Absolutely busted. Really, really strong. So if you fusion summon him, since he's a winged beast, and if you can't refuse him under the Simog link, you you can also protect him from being targeted during the battle phase. Very, very strong. This guy doesn't really need the Soravis protecting him because he's a winged beast right from the start. Very, very strong. So at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, survived the battle, and his effect was not negated, you can shuffle this card back into the extra deck and special summon two Gladiator Beast monsters from your deck. Pretty much. Any two Gladiator Beast monsters. Very, very powerful card. Just allows you to recover some of his material costs as well and just continue playing pretty much. Next, we go into the Link package. I played two copies of Test Panther. Very, very strong card. He requires any two monsters, including a Gladiator Beast monster. So as long as you're using a Gladiator Beast monster, which is the case in this deck, he's pretty generic for this deck. So he has two effects basically. If this card is link summoned, you can add one Gladiator Beast card, any Gladiator Beast card from your deck to your hand, and Gladiator Beast monsters that you control I mean, one is its search effect, where you actually can add any Gladiator Beach monster, or Gladiator Beach card from your deck to your hand. Its other effect is that you can target one Gladiator Beach monster that you control, shuffle that target back into the deck, and special summon a Gladiator Beach monster of a different name from your deck to your side of the field. This is considered as special summoning the Gladiator Beast monster by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster. So the Gladiator Beast monster that's freshly summoned gets its effects right off the bat. So if you're special summoning an Augustus, for instance, and you have a Gladiator Beast monster in your hand, that Augustus can activate its effects right away, and you get the monster from your hand. Very powerful card. Absolutely brilliant. We also play the one copy of Gladiator Beast Geysers. Also, Winged Beast Link monster just requires two Gladiator Beast monsters of any names. Doesn't really matter. He's a wind attribute. So basically, this card, what it does is it makes your Gladiator Beasts Armades on your turn during your battle phase, and any battle damage that you take from battles involving Gladiator Beasts is halved. He's got 2,000 attack. He's a Link 2. He's pretty powerful for a Link 2, to be honest with you, and he's got bottom right and bottom left arrows, which is like really, really strong. So they're good arrows, so you can use it very, very effectively. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, survived the battle, and its effect was not negated, you can shuffle it back into the extra deck and special summon two Gladiator Beast monsters from your main deck. Basically, very, very good, very, very powerful card. We also play the one copy of IP Masquerena. If you've been following my deck profiles, you will have seen that I use IP Masquerena a lot, and I actually like this card very, very much. She requires two non-link monsters to make. She's a link 2. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. Link summon one link monster using monsters that you control, including this card. Absolutely amazing. So she's got a quick effect that you can use during your opponent's main phase, and any link monster that you link summon using this card as a material cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is absolutely brilliant. This card is one of the main ways that you use to go into your Apollos or the Bow Goddess in this deck during your opponent's main phase. Very, very, very powerful card. Very strong. We also followed this up with one copy of Mrs. Radiant. Now, the entire Gladiator Beast archetype is built around recursion. It's basically a very, very good at cycling resources. It's very, very good at, you know, recovering resources and recovering cards from the graveyard, back to your hand and shuffling them back into the deck or whatnot. There is, however, no way to recover one critical card in your entire archetype, and that is the Test Tiger, which is basically an important complete starter and combo piece. So this is a very good card that actually helps you recover that. Also, bottom right and bottom left arrow. She is a based link effect monster, 1400 attack. All Earth type monsters on your side of the field, including herself, gain 500 attack, and all Wind type monsters on either side of the field lose 400 attack and defense. So basically, that's really really strong. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, you can target one Earth monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So like that's like really really strong. If you're going to add a Darius, you can. If you're going to add a Test Tiger, you can. This is just another way of recovering your important cards from your deck with your Earth type. So like really really strong card. Finally, last but not the least, I play one of these guys. These are the big boys. This is the thick like really. So, Simon, Bird of Sovereignty. This guy is definitely an end game, an end board product for you on your turn, going into your opponent's turn. Uh, he's a winged beast link effect monster. Requires two or more monsters, including a winged beast monster. This guy cannot be used as a link material, so that he's there to stay pretty much on the field. But you don't need to link using him uh, because you need him for the protection effect. So while you control this face-up card, your opponent cannot control winged beast monsters that you control that are linked to this card, including this card with card effects, and they also cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn during either player's end phase, you can special summon one winged beast monster from your deck to your side of the field. If you special summon that winged beast monster to a zone that is pointed to by the Simog link, that monster also gets protected by the Simog link, and it cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects either. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This card, well, probably the most prettiest, loveliest link 4 ever made in recent times. I would say probably the biggest boss monster of the deck. You definitely want to run her because this deck actually can make her. You can get like five or more gladiator beasts on your side of the field very 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 quickly. So she requires 2+ monsters with different names except tokens. She has a non once per turn negation effect. So she gains 800 points of attack for each monster that is used as her material. So if you use 4 monsters, she gets 4 times 8, 3200 attack. So each time you negate a monster effect using her, she loses 800 attack. So that means she gets gradually weaker. But that is not at all a problem because she starts off at 3200 and she's going to be obviously stronger than most normal summonable monsters, which that most meta decks can actually bring out your side of the field. Very, very strong. I would definitely say, like, very, 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 very powerful monster. She's probably the strongest negate that you can possibly make on your side of the field, in addition to the Gladiator Beast Domitianus. Very, very strong card. So you make if you have that's a Mog link, and if you have this card alongside Gladiator Beast Domitianus, Tamer Editor, and uh, uh, the Gladiator starts with the Stormwind, you have basically a 5 negate board for free, which also prevents your opponent from special summoning monsters from the extra deck. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Very powerful. Very powerful. And that'll be all from me for this particular deck profile from the extra deck. Please let me know in the comment section exactly what you thought, how you think I can basically make this deck better, whether you agree with my extra deck choices, and if so, with what do you agree and with what do you disagree. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, enjoy. I hope you're having a great day like I am. Thank you very much.